My next guest has got a new opponent. He's going to be taking on Gerald Meerschaert now at UFC Fight Night on August 1st. Ed, how's it going, man?
What's happening, guys? Just getting ready to head to my next training session.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure a lot of stuff going on. I heard you found out about this fight. What was it, like yesterday, day before? When did you get wind that you'd have the new opponent?
I didn't find out till last night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, I figured it might happen, though, with my opponent coming from Korea. And a lot of guys have been having troubles getting visas to get in the States to fight. And either that or it's a USADA issue I don't want to say anything about because I heard nobody's getting tested over there either.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Did it surprise you when they mentioned Gerald Meerschaert just because he's coming up from middleweight?
Yeah, I mean, you never know who they're going to fill in with. So I appreciate Gerald taking the fight. I've been training for a while. I was supposed to fight in May, and then it got canceled, right? So then we pushed back to this date. So I appreciate him stepping up.
Did you know much about him before saying yes to the fight?
I had seen him fight a couple of times, but I didn't know a whole lot about him, no.
Okay. And training, I know you mentioned you were preparing for this fight on the first. Have things been a lot better in terms of training just with, COVID-19? I know it's, a lot of stuff's been restricted and shut down.
Yeah, when things first started going down, it was a little tough, but we got our secret ninja training going, pretty good last few months, so no problems.
That's good. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It's a little bit tough because I know sometimes you got to keep things, kind of under wraps. You don't know who's watching or whatever, because I know they're pretty strict about, people training together and things like that.
Yeah, it is. Luckily, we're in a place where it's not open, to the public really. And especially being in Portland with all these freaking retards around here, I'm afraid that, I was afraid that we get shut down pretty quick, but things have been good, man.
And not just that, they're doing all the protests, Antifa and all that stuff. Have you been impacted by that at all? Just, trying to get groceries and you got all these people protesting?
No, I live across the river in Washington.
Oh,
so, nice. In Vancouver, where we're at, it's not an issue. And then where I'm training in Portland is outside of the city a little bit, right? So I don't have to deal with it at all, luckily.
You just mentioned something there that you live in Vancouver, Washington. When you tell people you're from Vancouver, do people automatically think Vancouver, Canada? Because that's actually where I live. And I've had the odd time where I'll speak to an American. They're like, oh, you live in Washington. I was like, no, Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, it happens a lot unless someone's from the, this area, obviously. But most people have not heard of Vancouver, Washington.
That's still a cool name, though. It's a good place to live for sure. Let's talk about Gerald. I'm sure now you've had a chance to look at him, figure out what type of opponent you're facing. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I feel like I match up well against Gerald. He's a middleweight coming up, so size isn't going to be a problem. I feel like I'm going to be better than him everywhere. He's an experienced guy, though. He's pretty good everywhere, but I like to think that I am as well. And I just think that it's a great matchup for me.
You mentioned training camp. Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
Man, a lot of guys. I have a lot of guys backing me up. Austin Vanderfort is young stud who fights for Bellator.
I know Austin quite well. He's a standout in Bellator at middleweight. It's funny, though, because he fights at middleweight. You guys almost look the same size.
Yeah, I'm at least a couple inches taller. He's pretty damn buff, though, for sure.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was getting at, to try and say that in like a heterosexual manner. But yeah, he's a pretty athletic guy. Best way to put it.
He's a freak of nature, man. He's one of the hardest working dudes I've ever seen, and you can tell, he's a beast. So there's a bunch of young guys, man, coming up. Eric McConaughey, Ray Hill, all these young guys who keep me going, as well as, my experienced coaching staff. And, I haven't had good old Chael Sonnen around this camp, but it's a different type of fight, or it was anyway. Now it's changed again, but that's normal, right? It happened in my last fight, too, when I was in Russia.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure you've had that a ton of times happen in your career or whatever. What's it like being at the gym now? You're sort of, kind of mentoring these up and comers. Whereas I know back when you first started fighting, you were with all these MMA legends and guys that have been in the game for a while. How's that been, now being the mentor as opposed to the student?
it's kind of been going on for a while. I owned a gym in Colorado for a while, so I was coaching and helping, mentor these young guys coming up then. And even at Team Quest, man, I was coaching like after a year of training. I just loved it. It was, all the way, all in there all day, training, coaching, everything I could do to get better. So, but now being even more, aged, I can find whiskey,
Getting better
it's
with
nice
age,
though. It's cool, man. I enjoy mentoring these young guys. We got a lot of talented young guys coming up. You've seen Ricky Simone and some of these different people, a few young guys like that are around just really doing things right, man. They're good people and they work hard and it shows.
Do you have much of a weight cut? Because I know you used to fight at middleweight, so is 205 pretty decent for you to cut to?
It's not too bad. That's one of the reasons I went up. You know what I mean? It's cutting all that weight was pretty tough, so it's not too bad. I manage it pretty well now over the years with all the experience. It's pretty easy.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight? I know Austin Vanderford's usually in your corner. Is he going to be this time, or is he taking some time off because of Page's last fight?
Well, he was just in my corner once, and that was just kind of because I didn't have people available and whatnot. But I have, the same staff I've had my last 3 fights with Robert Velarde. Hannon is my kickboxing coach. He's a crazy Italian guy you'll hear screaming. And then Mike Pierce is my wrestling MMA coach.
Nice.
You all know who he is.
Yeah,
UFC forever. Yeah, so I've been with him. He's been with me the last 3 fights, and it's really helped a lot with my wrestling game. Bringing me back to my roots. You know what I mean? Because that's how I started. If you watch my old fights, I was taking everybody down. And then Fabiano Scherner, of course, the big dog. You know what I mean?
That's great. How do you see the fight playing out on August 1st?
You guys will have to just tune in and see. Can't give any of my secrets away. Sounds like
There you go. Yeah,
Gerald.
you're top notch here. Well, I mean, the one thing with Gerald, I mean, aside from his last fight, he's a pretty tough guy to finish. So I could see this fight potentially being like a 3-round war. But like you said, keeping it close to the vest, right? You don't want to give away any secrets.
Right, like I said, though, Gerald's a game opponent. He's skilled in all assets. You know what I mean? I can't make any mistakes. I'm not looking past him whatsoever. I trained my ass off, and I'm ready to rock, no matter who they put in front of me. So it's going to be a good scrap. He's durable. You're right. He's not easy to finish. So, but me, I like to try and finish fights if I can. I'm going to come after him.
Where do you feel like a win over him would put you? Because he's not in the division, and you have a nice winning streak heading into this one. I would imagine you'd kind of get sort of a higher caliber opponent after this, especially if you get a finish.
Yeah, whatever. I'm taking them one fight at a time. Right now in my career, that's the way I'm living, like one at a time. If I'm healthy, I'll do another one. It's all about that and making as much money as I can. The rankings and all that is a bunch of popularity contest bullshit. Just like the video game, you got freaking rainbow-haired dudes who've only fought 2 times in the UFC freaking in there, and, it's ridiculous.
Are you not in the game yet? No?
Never been in one of the games.
What?
25 fights in, yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Popularity contest.
Well, that was going to be kind of my next question. You've been in the UFC since 2006. I mean, I don't know many guys, forget your cast on Ultimate Fighter. I don't know many fighters that were around then that are still competing. What's the key to longevity in your opinion? Because you're still competing at a high level.
Just staying healthy for me is key, right? If I'm healthy, then I can train hard. I've had some injuries in the past. And just my mindset too, man, just trying to enjoy the moment, trying to get better all the time, and never, being, never settling for where I'm at, or whatever. Just trying to always get better, always perfect my craft, and do it the best I can as I continue to age.
Do you still keep in touch with anyone from that 3rd season of The Ultimate Fighter?
Not real close, but me and Mike and Kendall, those are the guys that I'll see or randomly talk to or say what's up on social media to. You know what I mean? Just they're still around the game, so you see them more. And nobody else really. Me and nobody else really stuck in touch at all. There's a few guys who were cool on the show who I was buddies with, but it's easy to lose touch with time and all that stuff.
No, absolutely. It sounds like they're bringing it back. It sounds like they want to reboot the Ultimate Fighter because I know they've been on a hiatus. If you ever asked to coach the show, do you think you'd ever do it?
Yeah, it'd be fun to do. I'd love to be a part of one of the staffs, or be involved in that. It would be a lot of fun to do. We got a lot of young guys, so I think it'd be great for the show too. So with it coming back, it'd be great to give some of those guys the opportunity to get their name out there.
Very well said, Ed. Really looking forward to the fight. It's coming up here Saturday, UFC Fight Night. Thanks so much for the time, man. I know you're super busy. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? The floor is yours.
Oh shoot, man! Garden of Life, vitamins and supplements. They've been with me for years and years. I really appreciate all their help. Rev Gear, they've provided me with a lot of my training gear over the years, so they've been awesome to me. A couple other companies, Apex, OMG Meal Prep, a few companies that have been beside me. Healthy Roots Hemp Products. Appreciate everybody, and then of course my team, man. American Top Team Portland. All the guys there who helped me out. It's just it takes a whole tribe, man. So I appreciate everybody's help.